Network Marketing Mastery from Dan Kennedy's Info Summit here in Denver, Colorado. I just want to give you a short report because there were some really nice things that Dan said. And what I didn't know is that Dan Kennedy himself was a distributor of Amway in his early years, in the time when Zig Ziglar was also in the company, and Zig Ziglar was already producing his famous trainings. And Dan was watching this very consciously, whatever Zig was doing, and he was watching other things. And he was remarking, actually, the topic was mastermind groups, coaching groups, and how to motivate people. And he said in a real mastermind group, which is usually, if you have read Napoleon Hill's The Laws of Success, there it's described exactly. It's usually maximum 20 or sometimes 30 people. Between 12 to 20 people is the classic mastermind, and it's really a group of highly motivated individuals who hold each other accountable. And Dan made a very interesting remark that 1% of the people really want to be held accountable. They love it and they do everything to bring their performance and to implement whatever they have learned. And they do everything to learn everything they need to learn. The next 4% are people who don't like to be held accountable, but they know that it helps them. They know that they should if they want to progress. The next 15% is something Dan Kennedy, it was very funny, humorously called flexible accountability. That means basically when you want to be held accountable, then in your chosen fields you are accountable, but otherwise better not. And the 80% of human beings don't want to be held accountable. They just want to do their own thing, and they actually don't believe or understand why being held accountable could help them forward in their life. Now the interesting thing is that the 1% is also the super rich people. The 4% is the rich people, and Dan said this is a typical 1, 4, 15 and 80%. That's a very typical ratio, so it makes a lot of sense that you listen to this. The 15% are the good income earners, like higher middle class you would call them, and the 80% are middle class and lower income earners. So basically, how much you can take it to be held accountable determines a lot about the income you will achieve and the success you will achieve. Because let's face it, any Olympic athlete, any Wimbledon champion, any Formula One champion, or any sports champion has a trainer, has a mentor who holds him accountable for his training, but also for his mental preparation and for the life he lives, because he wants to achieve peak performance. So he needs someone. He wants to belong to the top 1%, or in case of an Olympic gold medalist, is only one in the whole world at a given time. So think about it, and think about what you want to achieve in your life, and if you can take it to be held accountable, if you go in fully, or if you have a reluctance, you don't like it, but you know it helps you, or if you are flexibly accountable, and so only sometimes when you want, on given subjects, but then otherwise no. Or do you belong to the 80% of the people who really don't bother being held accountable? So there was other things that Dan said. I'm sorry, this is a little longer video blog than usual, but I know that there's precious information in it. So the other thing he spoke about was the recognition factor in network marketing, and basically in a real mastermind it's all about accountability, but it's really only a group of 12 to 20 people. But when you have a bigger group, then usually you replace accountability with recognition and with giving awards. And then Kennedy mentioned that basically the whole network marketing industry is steered in that way, is motivated in that way. And he made some fun because he's a very humorous guy. He has even written one book about humor and marketing, which you should read. Actually, I don't recall the title right now, but it's a must read, Humor and Marketing, Dan Kennedy. So anyway, He spoke about the fact that, for example, in Amway, there is a sales continuity pin. That means if you continually order for 100 PV volume every month, then you get that pin, the 1 month pin, and there's a 3 month pin and a 6 month pin, and then there's a 1 year plaque if you have continuously ordered for over 100. And the idea or the understanding is that theoretically the Amway distributor, and maybe you're one, I don't know whoever watches this video, so I just found it interesting that Dan mentioned it. Theoretically you should sell 70% retail or use it for business purposes like at a fair or for product presentations, and only 30% used for your own consumption. And Dan was joking, he said, we don't know what they really do with the 100 volume, but they get the sales continuity pin. And then about Mary Kay, he said in Mary Kay they even get a pin for presence, for being present at events, at conventions. And he's a very humorous guy, but also he has this ironic or sometimes sarcastic undertone. The point I have taken out of this is that people even come to events is extremely important. And if you miss any event, it's the lifeblood of our industry. So it makes sense to me somehow that some network marketing companies make even a attendance pin which people get who have attended. And the real achievement is actually that you come. The real achievement is that you attend. Because whenever you're in such an environment of top marketers, multi-millionaires, millionaires, you just get something. You get an energy, you get a consciousness, you get a success feeling, and you make progress, you make transformational experiences that otherwise you wouldn't make. So it makes a lot of sense to reward those who come, just for coming. But anyway, the real reward is you show up and you get this tremendous experience, you get transformation experience, and you learn a lot. And that's what I wish for you. My wish for you is that you become a master of network marketing and that you live a life full of progress, happiness, and success. Till next time, Aditya Novotny, Network Marketing Mastery.pro.